Hey guys, so for today's video, I wanted to do something a little bit different, and I'm going to be comparing and wearing two different eyeshadow primers today, and I'm going to tell you which one looks best at the end of the day. I've had this idea for a minute because you guys know I've been loving the Rare Beauty eyeshadow primer ever since it came out. I think I'm on my third tube of it now, and I love this one. I love the pigment of it. It applies easily, but about a month ago, Essence sent me their new Prime Like a Boss eyeshadow base, and I've been using this one as well, and I kind of like it too. So I thought, let's do a look where I have one primer on each eye, do the same exact eyeshadow look, and just see which one looks best at the end of the day. Like, simple as that. The Rare Beauty eyeshadow primer is $21, where the Essence one is only $3.99. So a very big price point difference, and I really wanted to see just how they compare. So if you want to see how these two eyeshadow primers compare and which one looks the best at the end of the day, go ahead and keep on watching. So let's go over these two eyeshadow primers really quick and what their claims are. So the Rare Beauty one is $21 and you get 0.1 ounces of product. And this primer claims to be hydrating and dries to a silky, smooth base and gives a natural finish. And the reason why I really love this one is that this primer has a little bit of a tint to it. I also like a doe foot applicator like that. So when you apply this one, you do have a little bit of color there, which is great if you have like any redness or kind of veins on your eyelid. The Essence eyeshadow primer is only $3.99 and you get a little bit more product. You get 0.16 ounces. And this primer claims to be waterproof, long-lasting, non-creasing. It's a soft texture that melts into the skin, and it also has shea butter in it, which is a hydrating ingredient. And this primer feels very thin, almost kind of slippery as you blend it out. It really has like a good little slip to it. So both these eyeshadow primers are more of a hydrating formula, and I did want to mention that I do have more normal to dry skin. I do not have oily eyelids, so I personally don't know how these work on oily eyelids, but if you do have oily eyelids, I would love it if you wrote down below in the comments how you feel about these eyeshadow primers if you've tried them, just so we can get a couple different opinions down below. So for today's video, I'm going to use the Essence eyeshadow primer on this eye, the Rare Beauty one on this eye, and for my palette today, I'm just going to do a nice little bronze look with the Natasha Denona bronze palette. I wanted to use an eyeshadow formula that I'm really familiar with for this little test here. So I don't have anything on my skin right now. I just did my skincare about an hour ago. I did my eyebrows and that's it. So there's no makeup or anything on my eyelids. This is how they look. I do have a tiny bit of discoloration on my eyelids, but for me, it's nothing crazy. So I'm going to take some of the Essence one on the back of my hand here, just a little like pea-sized amount like that. And I'm going to take the Sephora Collection number 77 brush, and I'm going to pick up that primer. I'm going to apply that along my entire eyelid. And I am making sure to bring the primer all the way out here. And then for the other eye, taking the Rare Beauty one. And I like to go like this. I'm going to take a different brush here and just blend in this primer. So right away you can see the little bit of tint that this eyeshadow primer has. And I'm just going to take a finger and just pat over everything on both eyelids. Just texture-wise, they honestly feel pretty similar on the eyelids. Like I said, this one does feel a little bit more slippery, but it's really nothing crazy difference. But I feel like right away you can see the pigment of that eyeshadow primer. It's a subtle difference, but I do like how that looks. Just kind of gives me a blank, even canvas to work with. Going into the bronze palette, I'm going to take the shade Silk on a Sigma E54, and I'm going to pack that on the entire eyelid. I really wanted to start with just like a packing shade like this, just to see how it packs on top of each primer. Interesting, right away with that shade, this eye looks more pigmented, doesn't it? Let me see if I can add more product to this eye. I was not expecting that much of a difference, especially with the first eyeshadow. That's interesting. I can see a difference. let me know if you can too. It's almost like it just looks more shimmery on this eye. Again, this one is the Essence eyeshadow primer. Now I'm gonna take a Sigma E25 in the shade Beach, and I'm gonna blend this shade into my crease and around that shimmer. And you'll notice I didn't set the eyeshadow primers down with any translucent powder. I do tend to do that sometimes, but whenever I use Natasha Denona shadows, I found that her formula works best with an unset base. I am going to use a different E25 on this eye. So again, I just have that Beach shade and blending that in my crease. I feel like I'm having an easier time kind of blending out these edges with this eye. I'm gonna go back with this E25, blend around these edges some more. Just kind of the movement of the brush. I feel like my Rare Beauty side, the brush just kind of like blends over it a little bit easier. I feel like on this eye, it's almost kind of like sticking a little bit as I'm blending. And it's not anything terrible. Like that's something I can easily work with, but I just want to point that out. Now I'm just taking a skin tone colored eyeshadow and I'm gonna blend right below the brow on each eye. I feel like this eye looks so much more pigmented, doesn't it? Like it's just a little more saturated looking. I mean, I want my eyeshadow to look the same today because I'm going out with my mom later, so I am gonna add more of that Beach shade to this eye. Kind of right here in the crease. I'm also gonna take more of that Silk Shimmer shade just on my finger, just so I can build this up a little bit more. And I will also build up this eye as well. Okay, that looks more even to me. All right, so I want to add a deeper brown to my outer corner just to deepen it up a little bit. So I'm actually going to switch palettes here. I'm going to go into the Glam palette and I'm going to take this outer eyelid color on my E54. And I'm just going to lightly add that to the kind of like outer third of my lid. And then taking that E25 again and just doing a soft blend around that dark brown. And then same thing on this eye. I feel like I have to add more product to this eye to get it to match the pigment of this eye. And then blending again. All right, I feel like that brown shade looks pretty even on both eyes, but like I said, I did have to add more to this eye to get it to match the pigment of that side. Now I'm gonna take a makeup wipe and just clean up the edges of the eyeshadow. All right, I'm gonna go do my face makeup off camera and then we will finish up the eyes together. All right, my face makeup is done. Let's finish up the lower lash line. I'm gonna go back to this brown shimmery shade on a Sigma E21. And that's gonna go along the outer part of my lower lash line. And you'll notice I didn't put any eyeshadow primer under my eyes because I just kind of use whatever concealer and powder I'm putting under here to prime my under eyes, and that works really well for me. Now I'm going to go back to the E27 and a little bit of the Beachy shade, and I'm using the tip of this brush to blend out that dark brown shade. Now I'm just going to take any highlight shade and pop that in my inner corner. All right, I'm gonna go pop on some mascara and lashes, and then we will talk about the final look. All right, the eyes are done, and I put on a half lash and I took it off because I just was not feeling it today, so I'm just wearing mascara. All right, let's take a look at each eye. So again, this eye has the Essence eyeshadow primer on it. I feel like I'm having a weird little blending spot right here. It's not terrible, not super noticeable, but I can notice that. And then again, this eye is the Rare Beauty eyeshadow primer. The brown shade looks a bit better on this eye, just kind of the blend looks a little more seamless. But I kind of feel like when I compare both eyes, it almost looks like I'm wearing a different eyeshadow palette. Like, I almost feel like this eye looks a little bit more cool toned in a way, where I feel like the shades on this side are really popping more. Like, am I crazy? Do you see this too? All right, here we are zoomed out. I feel like the eyes look good, but do you see what I mean? This eye just looks kind of warmer and a little more saturated in a way, which is not what I was expecting with a $4 primer versus a $21 primer. As of now, I have no creasing on my eyes, and I normally don't have creasing when I wear these eyeshadow primers, so I'm not really expecting any creasing, but I feel like the real test is gonna be how long do these eyes wear and which eye looks best at the end of the day, because that's the point of an eyeshadow primer, right? How long does it last? So it's currently almost 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Like I said, I'm going out with my mom tonight for a bit, but I'm just kind of having a low-key day. It is pretty warm outside though, so we'll see how this makeup holds up. I will check in with you probably twice throughout the day, and we'll see which eye looks better at the end of the day. All right, it is about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so it's only been 2 hours since I finished my makeup really, but here is what we're looking like so far. I have been outside quite a bit. Again, like I said, it's really warm and beautiful out today, and this eye has just kind of been like watering. You know, like you're just outside walking, your eye just starts watering. So you can just see a little bit of my eyeshadow going away right there, but I'm gonna blame that on the weather today, not the eyeshadow primer. So I feel like things are still looking pretty good at this point. There really isn't much fading. No eyelid is really creasing. Again, it's only been 2 hours, so I'm about to go get some drinks with my mom, and I will check in later. All right, it is the end of the night. It is currently 8:22. I have to be honest, I did have 2 mimosa flights with my mother, so yeah, that's where I'm at right now, but let's look at this eyeshadow look. Again, like I said earlier, this eye has just been watering all day right here. You can kind of see, but we're looking at the eyeshadow and how like mostly the lid and the crease looks. I mean, again, I haven't really had any eyeshadow creasing throughout the day. That brown shade does look a little smudge, but I think that's just because of my eye watering. Again, this is the Essence eye, and then for the Rare Beauty eye, I feel like we're looking pretty solid over here, but this eye has not been watering all day. I still do feel like at this point too that this eye just looks slightly more pigmented, a little bit more saturated, especially in that lid shade Silk right there. I feel like it's kind of hard to say if one eyeshadow primer is like truly better than the other, but I gotta say, comparing the two, I'm very impressed with how the Essence side hold up throughout the day, given that this primer is $4 and this primer is $21. So of course, I would love your thoughts as well down below. Have you tried these primers? What are your thoughts on them? So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.